Whoa, league of my own, it don't get better. No, read what I wrote, I'm a bestseller. Yeah, reach for my goals, hit it dead center. Hit it dead center.
Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the Diggles Diamonds podcast. I got ahead of myself. We are joined by Caden and Nolan Kindle, the dynamic twin duo currently making opponents' lives miserable at Victor J. Andrew High School in Tinley Park.
Yeah, for sure.
Welcome, guys.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
I have recruited a Andrew alum a time or two. Recently, Ramon Padilla, who went from ICC down to Arkansas Little Rock and then to Pitt when the transfer portal became a thing. So always good to be in the south suburbs.
Yeah, sure.
Well, Mr. Bentley, I'm going to let you take the lead on this one because you know these boys better than I.
I have been following them. And for those listeners out there, if you haven't seen it, go check out the Tribune spinoff. Southtown Sports did a nice article about you guys. I think it came out like 3 or 4 days ago. It's a good read. But I am going to toot my own horn. I've been on both you guys since before that article. Of course, when you smoke Mount Carmel 10-2, you're going to get more attention. And that's kind of where I wanted to start. I mean, for one, you guys are undefeated, correct?
Yeah, that is correct.
And I saw you cracked PBR's top 25. I think you're a little underranked, but we'll let Drew Locascio make that decision.
Friend of the pod, Drew Locascio.
Friend of the pod, Drew Locascio. We still love you, Drew, but maybe Andrew should be a little higher on the rankings after the Mount Carmel pounding.
Now, real quick, before we go any further, because I just thought about this when I saw the boys. Who is who here?
So I'm Caden, and this is Nolan.
Yeah, Nolan.
Okay, so Caden in the yellow hat,
Caden
Nolan with the shades
hat.
on his forehead.
Good to know.
There we go. All right.
So my first question is this. Who's the best team you've played? The easy answer is probably Carmel, but you had to walk off Palatine, right?
We had to walk off Palatine. They were pretty good. They were grinders. We played pretty good. They also did. So there was a large hitting game. So they hit pretty well. I would also say Carmel's pretty good, right? Also St. Joseph Ogden. They hit the ball pretty well, and they played good defense. Yeah.
For those not familiar, St. Joe Ogden is a little school outside Champaign. They're a 2A school, but really, really talented program, consistently challenging for like sectionals and super sectional and state berths. So not like they were dipping into the easy win column down there either.
They were solid. We also played the Irish team that we played down in Jacksonville. They had O'Connor guy, Notre Dame commit, and then they brought
Bishop Mack.
Yeah, and then they also brought in an ISU commit to pitch against us too.
Was that at Illinois College where that little spring break fiesta took place where you guys played?
It wasn't.
Champions Field.
Yeah, Champions Field. Yep.
Yeah. Champions Field's been holding a bunch of jamborees. Usually does first couple weeks of the year for both high school and colleges. So if you're a northern team, high school or college, looking to get games in, Champions Field does a great job of moving everybody through and getting everybody some innings. So check them out.
I feel like you guys are both kind of the lead heavy hitters, pun intended, but can you guys talk about, and Nolan, you can probably speak to this because you catch Danny Moss, but can you talk about Danny Moss's performance on the mound against Carmel to hold them to 2 runs and just what kind of arsenal he has? How good is he?
I mean, Danny Moss, he pumps the zone with strikes. He will challenge hitters left and right. He has a 2-seam that cuts away. It's huge on righties. And then his slider or curveball, also just a big part of his game.
Okay. Besides you three, who else on the squad is going to be key in helping you guys hopefully make a long postseason run this year?
I would say Robbie Purcell is mashing the ball right now. And then
I would say just our lineup right now is just hitting everything. It's good to have guys, and 7 through 9 hole getting base hits every single game. So that definitely does help. And definitely our defense, our outfield is one of the top in the state for sure. I mean, we got Scotty Optadol in center. He is a cannon. We got Cusack in left. He's a quick guy. And then right field, Ryan Burns. He mashes the ball pretty well. So yeah, I think we're doing good right now.
This one's for Nolan. I talked to your coach, Coach Dahan. I hope I'm pronouncing that right.
Yes.
And he said you threw out over 50% of base stealers last year as a sophomore. This year, are people just scared to run on you? Are they still trying? Logan
No.
Fernandez probably had to been one to at least think about it at Mount Carmel. That dude is quick.
No, they still are running. They're still
They
challenging.
haven't learned their lesson.
They have not. But I think a big part of that is like the pitchers. They really just help me a lot, just holding the runners on.
Now,
that is always
and I don't want you to give away too much there, Nolan, but like I know that was something I hadn't really focused on it coming up through the coaching ranks. And my good friend Andrew Werner, who's the pitching coach at Bradley, he taught me what he called his 5 series, which was literally just a, catcher throws down 5 fingers and it just becomes a hold, like an extended hold, to see if you can kind of suss out what the base runner wants to do and what the hitter is trying to do. But from your perspective as a catcher, try to tell people how important it is that not only do your staff hold guys on, but also get to the plate in a timely manner.
Yeah, our staff, we have this it's like where like you have to be like slide step in a certain amount of time,
Mm-hmm.
and that really helps. And then I think the pickoffs too, that's a huge play. And I love picking off too, so I think that's just a big part of it.
Do you have a green light to just, hey, if you see somebody wandering too far, snipe behind them?
Yeah, for sure.
It's nice. That's the most fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, catch them sleeping.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Sure.
Caden, I can't let you guys go without talking about Friday, March 28th. You're down in Jacksonville. I assume it was much warmer than we're at. I'm in Geneva, right by St. Charles. You play Glenbard North and Rockford Harlem in a pseudo twin bill, 2 different teams, same ballpark. You go 7 for 7 with a homer, and was it 5 doubles?
4 or 5 doubles, yeah.
4 or 5 doubles. I think I counted 7 runs scored and 6 ribbies on the day. I mean, did you wake up and just had like a hell of a breakfast?
I don't know. I mean, we felt good from the first swing. First swing was a homer to left field. So
That'll boost your confidence for the rest of the day.
Yeah, it was awesome. So we go down 4-0, and I'm just thinking we need to get the guys on the board. We got to get just the day started off well. So I know I saw a first pitch fastball, so I was like, okay, might sit on off speed, and he hung a curveball, so we just take it deep. But yeah, I mean, it was a good day. Nothing else really to say. I mean, I work hard, so I mean, I don't know how to say this. But we kind of have this on ourselves, that we want to do good and we want to do all this stuff, and it's finally coming around.
Like you said, I think you touched on it. When you're putting in the work, you get on the field and that's where it shows.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
The best feeling in the world.
Yeah. Awesome.
I mean, I coach youth baseball, and these are little boys, they're 10, but still the ones that'll catch a one-on-one hitting lesson twice a month, they're going to mash.
Yeah.
And again, this is 10-year-olds, but it's all the way up.
Yeah.
Diggle's tight with Trey Hannum, a really great hitting coach, and he tweeted recently, look, dude, mid-season, don't stop going to your guru hitting coach. Keep it going. Don't say, well, I got 162 games to play. I'm just going to figure it out from here. You got to keep going and working on the craft, honing the craft. So I think it's a hell of a day. And I
Yeah,
believe you
it was
guys
fun.
played the next day and you hit 2 more doubles, if I remember.
Yeah, it was good. It was fun. It was a fun weekend. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So this is one of,
Jacksonville, Illinois agrees with Kate.
Yeah.
yes, you like it down there, man. This is one of my favorite questions I thought of because you're both pretty fast.
Yeah.
But am I correct? Neither of you have a steal this year at this point?
I am not sure.
Well, I know when I get on the bases, I just get pinch
He
ran
gets taken
for.
off right away.
Yeah, so that ain't fair. Well, then we
Yeah.
can't even, because my question was going to be which one of you is going to, have the most steals. But yeah, I mean,
Which one wins the 60-yard dash?
that's a good question.
Try him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got to give it to him.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
What do you got, Diggs? Any questions for him?
No, not really. What do you guys do? Pardon my ignorance here, but who do you guys play for in the summers?
We play for Illinois Premier. for
Okay,
Eric Lin.
nice.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah. So there's a facility in Romeoville that we could go to whenever we want. So we usually take advantage of it a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure. It's great.
Well, very cool. That hopefully the coaches listening know to make it a point to check you guys out this summer.
Yeah.
Yes.
I see you guys have an interesting week coming up against Mr. Bauer. Set for tomorrow and Wednesday. I gotta believe the flavor of the Illinois high school baseball season at this point, at least from Baseball America's perspective. I think you're gonna get to see him in one of those two.
Yeah, I believe Monday. Yeah.
Tomorrow.
Okay, Monday you're gonna. So all right, I may try to come down and take a gander at you guys.
Yeah, it's cool.
I've noticed Mr. Bauer's throwing about 2 innings, which is probably wise.
Yeah.
They've got another sophomore, Cooper Johnson, who's kicking it up to about 91.
Mhm.
I know is Nolan. Are you the left-handed hitter?
I am the left-handed hitter.
Okay, so Bauer's probably gonna be a little tougher on you, I would assume. But
Yeah.
when they switch to Cooper Johnson, if that's the way they go, which that's been their modus operandi so far, it's going to be a little tougher on the other twins. So,
Yeah.
not going to be an easy week, but I think you guys will be all right. The way you guys gave it to Mount Carmel, Anthony Chavez, Logan Fernandez, that's a nice lineup they have. And, Danny Moss pitched well, but you guys also hit him well. So I really love your team this year.
Yeah, it was good to see. It was good to see Carmel. But yeah, for the upcoming week, I mean, we always have a saying, we're 0-0 until the next game. So it doesn't matter if we're 10-0. It doesn't matter if we're like shutting teams down. It's the next game. So that's how we view it as.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love to hear it, man. So this is my last question for you guys. Assuming you do want to play in college, do you come as a package to any college recruiter, or are you guys open to splitting up?
You know what? We get this a lot. I would say a lot of people ask us this. If it's the right fit for both of us, I think we'll both go. Like, we'll be fine with going together. But say one of us has a better opportunity somewhere where we think, we'll split up. So yeah, for sure.
It's smart to be open-minded, I think.
Yeah.
That, even though you guys, I'm sure, have been inseparable since birth.
Real
Yeah.
quick, I'll share a story with you both because you kind of remind me of these two. I had my first travel teams. I never forgot. This was like 2007, 2008. There were twins, Jordan and Justin Parr. And same way, they were like, hey, look, if we get different opportunities, we're going to take different opportunities. And Jordan ended up getting recruited to Illinois State. Justin ended up going to Parkland College, the junior college down in Champaign. And it just so happened that Justin had a great year at Parkland, ended up getting recruited to the University of Illinois after his freshman year, which was where their older brother Josh was. Jordan had a shoulder injury, sat out redshirted at Illinois State, transferred to Parkland, and did good enough after his redshirt freshman year there that he went to Illinois. So they all they intended to break up, and then they all ended up at the same place anyway.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
fun.
and all three got drafted. So,
Yeah.
and the one that was the runt of the litter, Justin, the smaller of the twins, ended up being the Big Ten Player of the Year.
Wow.
So yeah,
Yeah, that's crazy.
pretty good. It's really cool, and there's just something about twins. You know, like I told you guys, I've got my nieces, my neighbors across the street have fraternal twins, one boy and one girl. It's just really, I call them their built-in best friends. Like you never have to wonder like what's going on because your buddy's always right there. So very cool guys, and keep doing good things up at Andrew, and I'm sure I'll be out to see you boys at some point.
Yeah.
Once the regular season ends and we can hit the recruiting trail. So
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you for coming on, guys. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Yeah, this was great. Good luck down the road, boys, and good luck against East this week.
Yeah, thank you. Hopefully talk to you guys soon.
All right.
All right,
See you guys.
All right, Jaden.
Well, Mr. Bentley, since we're waiting on Mr. Shaffnet, that's not any shade at Mr. Shaffnet. He was just I told him 8:00 instead of 7:30. I didn't know how long the Twins would take, so he'll be joining us shortly here. But why don't we talk a little bit about some of the other players in the area that are tearing stuff up?
I like it. You want me to start with my news north of the wall?
Let's tag team this north. The chair
right.
the chair is against the wall. Johnny has a red coat.
I'll go first, and then I'll let you go, and then we'll tag team it.
Yeah.
First, a coach who has been very forthright, open with me, reaching out to him. Wanted to give him a shout out. Coach Luke Collins, who I've spoken to about some players at his program.
Lyle?
At Lyle. He got his first win as a head coach at Lyle. He, I think 8 or 9 years at Plainfield East as I believe as an assistant.
Yep.
But got his first win against IC Catholic. Congrats to you, Coach Collins. Always nice to get that first one under the belt. You know, starting from scratch like that, still a good program, a good area of baseball. So I expect him to do good things there in Lyle.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's it's funny that we were talking about Jack Bauer there with the Twins. I saw somebody, and I can't for the life of me remember who said it. It wasn't like one of the PBR guys or Diego Solaris or anything like that. It was somebody put out there that we are entering it. It might have been on the Illinois, one of the Illinois high school or travel ball forums that I'm a member of. But anyway, somebody put out there that we are entering a golden age of baseball in Illinois. And man, you look around at some of this talent, and it's hard not to argue with that.
I mean, Diggle, let's segue that into Jack Bauer. I mean, he's all over the national news.
Yeah.
Like last episode, we were supposed to have him on, and I joked that MLB Network, trumped us and said, sorry, Diggle's Diamonds, we're taking. Yeah. I'm not even sure that's untrue.
No.
I mean, the dude he's a star, man. And he's not the only one, Mr. Appenzeller down in Glenwood, Chatham.
The crazy part about that, literally the crazy part about Bauer, on the first day that he rolled out those 100-mile-an-hour fastballs, I forget, it was like first week of the season.
Yep.
I forget who East was playing, but literally, I can't remember if it was PBR or Baseball America or whatever. Somebody put out their first mock draft, like their first round mock draft, and Bauer wasn't on there.
Jesus.
From the left side at 100, and I was just like, okay, like Appenzeller's on there, absolutely. I think I'm forgetting who else might have been on, but anyway, it was just insane.
It was Jaden Fauske.
Yeah, Fauske, that was it. Yeah, who I had the pleasure of seeing last week down at Limestone. So got to see Jaden last week and Landon told me it was a good time.
I wish I would have been there. Do you
Looks like Mr. Shaftnet.
I see Mr. Shaftnet, PBR's pitcher of the week, has joined us.
2-time reigning pitcher of the week. Get it right, Bentley.
Man, just showing it out.
Ryan, in here?
Yep, I'm in.
Oh, you want the video or no?
Yeah, I can get the video. Let me see.
Okay.
Let's see here.
There he is.
There we go. In the car right now, but
Oh, there you go. All right. Well, folks, we are privileged to be joined right now by Morton's Ryan Schaffnet. As my co-host, Mr. Bentley, alluded to, the current two-time reigning PBR Pitcher of the Week. I also claim him as a shirt tail relative. I'm not sure how crazy he is about that, but at one point, his grandfather, Bill, who was a heck of an athlete himself, played football at Kentucky. His grandfather, Bill, was married to my granddad, Alice. So it's the shirt tailiest of shirt tail relations. But when you're humming along like he is, by God, I'm going to claim it. So, but well, what's going on, man? How's things?
it's going well. Yeah, we got a good start to the season. We really picked it up this last week, and I'm excited for the rest of the season.
Nice. I'm going to embarrass you here and throw out your numbers. This young man so far has made 4 appearances covering 21 innings. He has allowed just 8 total hits, 1 run, 1 earned run, 3 walks, and 37 strikeouts for a grand total of 3-0 with a 0.43 ERA. That is not too shabby, Mr. Bentley.
That's getting after it, Ryan. I hope that you're saving some of these nasty outings for our hometown Bradley Braves, and I'm sure you are. And I'm sure they are ecstatic that you decided to stay home, because I have a feeling you had a few options as far as where to go to play in college.
Yeah, for sure. We talked to a few different schools, but Bradley, just being close to home, having family that's able to be at the games, and a great education, a good program. That's what I'm with.
Absolutely.
Very cool. Ryan, take us a little bit through this, because talking to Coach Crawford, your start last year to the season was not terribly different. But he said as the season progressed, it kind of felt like the book was out on you. Is that something you kind of felt like happened? Like people started to figure out what the secret sauce was?
Yeah, a little bit. I think last season I started to focus a little bit too much on the off speed, especially on the changeup. But this season, working in the off season, I've really developed a slider, and I think that's going to help with the 3-pitch mix to get me through the season.
Absolutely.
I watched that slider on some video against Bartlett, which is a high school that you decided to feed a one-hit shit burger, pardon my language, to on their Peoria spring break when they played you guys and then Pekin and then
Normal Community.
Thank you, Diggs. What a performance. Again, back to the slider. It was the first time I'd, again, over video, taken a gander. That thing was pretty disgusting. Had a fair amount of movement. And again, I just, growing up in Peoria, you inherently are a Bradley fan. You just are. And so I'm just thrilled that Bradley's getting you, man. They're getting a really good player.
For sure. Thank you. Yep.
Talk a little about that slider. Did you base it on anybody? Did we go sifting through Pitching Ninja's, pitch grips in the drop box or anything, or what? How'd we come up with this thing?
Not a bad idea, but yeah. So last summer, more of a curveball, slow curveball, and I was actually at a baseball camp in Indiana and talked to the Notre Dame pitching coach. He said if I wanted to play at the next level, I really needed to develop more of a firm slider. He helped me keeping my wrist locked and acting as if it's a fastball. And that really helped just getting the speed up and making it seem like a fastball or a changeup.
Yeah, get that tunnel effect and kind of put it right in there.
Sure.
It's funny to me how and just that little change, just that little cue from the Notre Dame pitching coach makes that light bulb go on. And so often, people go, and don't get me wrong, like I think there's a big market for pitching coaches and pitch design and all that, but some of the most successful tweaks I've ever seen are just little things like that. Like I can remember, back when Ryan Camp was coming up in high school, his velo would fluctuate, and we really tried to figure out what was going on, and finally we took him to this they call it the college development camp. The Sparks put it on, and it's all these coaches. It used to be coaches from like LSU, Tennessee, USC, Arizona, all this. It was amazing. But Jeff Opalewski, who's now the pitching coach at Long Beach State, pulled Ryan aside and said, throw it like an infielder. And literally the kid steps up on the mound, loose in his hand. It's not, choking it off or anything. And all of a sudden it's 88, 89. And she's like, oh, okay. And then eventually it was 96. So it's just that's a great lesson that you just said there you don't have to change everything. Sometimes it's just the simplest little thing that can make a huge difference like that.
Yeah, for sure. Just small tweaks and figuring out what works for you.
Yeah. The other thing I think that helps you, well, there's two things that help, I think, you be successful. The first one is your pace. Coach Crawford, I think I told you this when Coach Crawford and I ran these up. Your last two games, 12 innings. One was a short game, obviously. The first one took an hour and 9 minutes, which was the complete game, and the 5-inning game took an hour and 14 minutes. So you have buzzsawed teams over two games in the amount of time that it takes one game to get played everywhere else, man. What is that something you're fairly cognizant of, is trying to work with pace and not kind of dilly-dally on the mound?
Yeah, the first part of that, hats off to the Briarcrest Christian pitcher. He was dealing up there too. So it helps having him going fast on one side of the ball.
Yeah.
But, yeah, just having that out there is being able to go quicker on the mound allows me to have deception later on when I'm pitching, whether it's a slide step or it's an extra pause in the middle of my windup, just kind of messing with the hitter's timing and catching them off guard.
Very cool.
Yep.
Now, the last thing I want to ask you about, and I don't know if I know Bentley doesn't know this, but a lot of people I don't think don't. I can remember when you were a catcher coming up in like the 12, 13, 14 ranks.
Oh yeah.
How much does that impact your approach to hitters? Like, do you still draw on the lessons you kind of learned as a catcher?
Oh yeah, for sure. I think I was telling Jim Matson the other day that being a batter and being a catcher has helped so much with pitching, because I know what to expect from a pitcher, and so then I can think from the batter's point of view and think about, I'll throw the opposite of it, So
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's been really helpful.
Very cool. Very cool. Mr. Bentley, you got anything else for this young man?
I do. Ryan, how much do you love throwing to Mr. Hudson Lavelle?
Oh, he's been great. Just building up chemistry with him in the past few years, working with him on the bullpens. He's a really solid catcher, his blocking and everything. And
I mean, his 4 home runs can't hurt. I mean, usually, especially back in the day, except for Johnny Bench and a few others, you wanted your catcher to be the Bob Uecker style. Give me that good defense. Don't really care as much about your hitting. He's got 4 homers. I think he's got like 14 or 15 RBIs already.
And I think he's got like 4 doubles with that too, and maybe a couple triples.
Just rakes.
Yeah, he's been super explosive and really helping spark our offense. It's been great.
Very nice. Well, Mr. Schaffnet, that is all I've got for you, my friend. Mr. Bentley, you got anything else?
I don't. Good luck to you, Ryan. Stay healthy. We'll be catching you probably. Like to come to a game while you're still in high school, but I'll also be looking to see you in that Bradley Braves uniform.
For sure. Thank you guys for having me on.
Hey, thanks for coming on, buddy. I appreciate it.
Have a good one. See ya.
Hey, have a good evening, man. Tell your dad I said hi.
I will.
Thanks, buddy.
That's a solid holy trinity of guests here for today, Diggs.
Man, that obviously I've known Ryan a long time, but man, just seeing him, that's Bradley University's getting the full package right there. Like there's not much that kid can't do.
I think I could make a very easy argument. He is a top 5, top 7-ish pitcher in the state, period. including Mr. Appenzeller and Mr. Bauer.
Yeah.
He is filthy, a big dude. I mean, he's going to get even stronger. He's going to throw even harder. He's going to learn even more about how to get Missouri Valley hitters out. I mean, dude, what did Mike Jordan say when he was drunk at that Bulls game? The floor's the ceiling or something. I mean, he has no ceiling. I love it.
Yeah, he's and especially going to work. Andrew Werner is one of my good friends, but he's also a hell of a pitching coach. And I'm not going to be surprised in 3 years when this kid gets his name called.
Yep,
not at all. Well, let's jump back into this here. You were congratulating
some love to Coach Collins.
Yeah,
I think you were
Lyle
up.
skipper Luke Collins. I want to show a little love to a young man out of Farmington named Landon Crawford. This kid, 6'5", 170 pounds, left, and has made 2 appearances this spring for the Farmers. He is 2-0 with a 1.35 ERA, and already has a no-hitter to his credit, combined on a no-hitter with, I believe, Bronson Ashley, although Ben Marvel's name sticks in my head for some reason. I apologize if I got that wrong, guys. But already has a combined no-hitter. He struck out 27 and walked 4 in 13 1/3. That's pretty good.
That's doing okay, I'd say.
That Farmington squad, by the way, is low-key kind of scary.
Lane Wheelwright?
Yeah, you've got Lane Wheelwright at shortstop, and on the bump, you've got Crawford. They've got Bronson Ashley, who I mentioned, Carter Lambin. Like they've got some really experienced, tough to hit arms. And by the way, that craziness, that entire 2A sectional, that you could see Notre Dame, Farmington, Brimfield, Tremont, and Illini West, all in the same sectional coming out of 2A.
I want to watch these playoffs, man. I know we just started the season. I'm already thinking about how good some of these teams that we've discussed are and researched on our own are, and I want to see them match up in the playoffs. It's an exciting time of year, even in this weather. I always tell my wife, who refused to ever move back home to Peoria, I go, but it's always 7.3 degrees warmer there.
Hey, remember the last time you went down this road, I had to cut off the
we had to redact.
So
we
Christy
redacted the segment.
That was the greatest text ever, like 5 a.m. on the Monday morning. Hey, can you go ahead and lop the end of that off? I don't want Christy to hear that.
I woke up in a cold sweat. I'm like, delete the last entire episode. I'm getting a divorce. Oh, man. Joking aside, though, with the weather, which is warmer in Peoria than Chicago, it's hard to get too excited because we've really only had a handful of really nice days, including Nazareth at Limestone. It looked beautiful. What was about 73 there?
It was beautiful. A little windy.
It didn't matter because Landon Tomey decided to hit 2 to dead center, wind or no wind.
The funny part about that was we were joking pregame about Landon having to work Oppo just to get a pull side home run because the wind was that harsh.
It was a crosswind there. Well, I'm really envious that you were there.
By the way, and we didn't tape last week, so I didn't get to say this, but shout out to Limestone coach Tyler Christensen for organizing that. That was a huge night for Central Illinois baseball. So cool to see all the other pros from the area, guys like Zach McAllister, who spent 9 years in the bigs with teams like the Indians, former 5th-round picks at Schwindenhammer, all these dudes, not to mention Jim's old Limestone teammates all coming out. Just a great job to organize that by Tyler, and kudos to Nazareth coach Lee Milano for agreeing to come down and allow Landon to play on the field that his dad kind of built.
Yeah, he did. Was there a Tim Wyman appearance?
I did not see Tim, but I would be surprised if he wasn't there.
Yeah. So Tim was my first Peoria Sunday Morning League manager. I bet he doesn't even remember me, but I did okay for him as a young, very young man thrown against grown ass men. Anyway, yeah, very envious. Wanted to come home for that game, wasn't able to. And then when I saw the weather, despite the wind, red, green with envy, whatever the cliche is, but it looked like a beautiful day of baseball.
It was
in Peoria, Illinois, or Bartonville to be specific. Shall we move north of the wall?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, no hitters. Let's stay on that topic. Zach Toma, West Aurora, southpaw, 6'1", 180. He's a junior. He decided to no-hit Juliet Central and go ahead and chalk up 20 strikeouts in that one. Wow. I think he's around 87-ish right now. I don't think he's been clocked by PBR in well over a year or about that.
Yeah.
He was like 85 back in July of 2024. So, he picked up a few since his sophomore season, but that is getting it done. Kerry Wood, Roger Clemens did it twice. And now Zach Toma in high school here in Illinois. Jack Bauer's gotten all the headlines, deservedly so. But Mr. Toma, 20 Ks and a no-no, that's doing it pretty well.
Now, and don't get me wrong, that is obviously you're striking out 20 of the 21 outs recorded in the game. Are you familiar with what the state record is, Mr. Bentley?
I got to believe, since you're bringing it up, it's over 21 because of a drop third strike. Would I be correct?
You would be. How far do you think it goes over 21, buddy?
I'll make a guess. I'll go 26.
What if I told you 44?
Oh my Jesus, Lord. Holy shnikes, Diggle.
Joe, Arizona State recruit Joe, I believe his last name was Lapp. This was back in like 2003. He started one game. The game was scoreless. They went till dark. And then they brought him back a week later when they got together for the game to resume. It was all like the pitchers were already on their schedule.
Yeah.
And so he sat down 20 plus in both on both sets of the same game.
I'm glad you explained that, because my next question was going to be, did he punch his catcher in the face after the game for dropping all those strike threes?
Yeah,
that's a crazy story.
There you go. There you go. By the way, Zach Toma, I texted you to get you on the podcast, brother. You big leagued me. You didn't reply. It's all right.
Him and Jack Bauer are on Hot Stove MLB Network. I said it last episode.
You know what though? Jack actually returns all my text messages.
I know.
God bless Jack Bauer.
You're tight with Bauer's pitching coach.
But even then, Jack has already promised to come on the podcast, just not right now. But like before, he's going to be our pre-draft guest. Yeah. But come on, Zach Toma, you're better than that. Nothing but love, man. Not mad at y'all. That's a great effort. You want to hear another wild one?
Yes.
So former Cubs pitcher Eric Yokish made the bigs with the Cubs back in 2006, and then after a couple years in the bigs, went over to Korea and had a really good second act to his career there. Was still pitching during COVID when I was getting up to watch KBO out of sheer desperation for baseball. Eric Yokish once struck out 21 in a game and gave up a run because he struck out, I believe it went like this. He struck out the second out of the seventh. Next kid reaches on a drop third strike. And then the next kid homers. He loses 2-1 after striking out 21 in a game.
That's a rough one. Ouch. Very ouch.
I could go on about Jokic for days because that kid was great. And his was the first contract I was consulted on for negotiating, and I still blanch at some of the numbers that I told him to throw around. Crazy, but
Stuff. You're up again. Who you got?
I want to shout out. We've been pretty heavy into pitching this episode, so I think it's only fair to point out a hitter. Brimfield's Dane Fagerberg. This kid is hitting 467 right now. I believe he has hit safely in all 9 of Brimfield's games so far. He has been just an absolute weapon out of the leadoff spot for them. 4 stolen bases, 2 doubles, 2 home runs. I want to say like 8 or 10 RBIs or something like that. Really, really nice season so far. And of course, he has right behind him in the order Caden Shotzik, the Northern Illinois recruit. So those two are giving first-year coach James Sams some pretty potent offensive firepower there.
Good deal. Since we had the Twins on and they're facing Lincoln Way East, we already touched on my next guy, but I got to throw out his numbers because I think he deserves some love. Lincoln Way East is being smart and prudent with Mr. Bauer.
Absolutely.
Throwing in 2 innings a pop. And I think he's averaging about 5.9 strikeouts in those 2 innings. However, a lot of those times, Mr. Cooper Johnson, 2027 sophomore righty, is coming in and putting together some big innings for Lincoln Way East. He's got 11 innings pitched so far, 2 earned runs, 21 Ks.
Oh.
He's getting after it. Only a sophomore. Congrats, Cooper. I hope to see you soon again. I'm deciding whether to go tomorrow to the Andrew High Lincoln Way East game or Mount Carmel at IC Catholic. So those are my 2 options. I got to make a decision. And as we've said before, we are a 2-man game, folks. We are not a big corporation. So until my 9-year-old son is old enough for me to send him scouting somewhere, it's gonna be decisions, which are tough decisions.
You're gonna say to keep me in the lifestyle in which I've become accustomed or something.
Oh man, I took my daughter Molly. She's only 7 when we went and saw Harvest Christian play.
That was awesome.
One of these kids is going to get their driver's license at some point. We'll be able to spread out, diversify our scouting up here in the north.
Go get me video.
Real quick, just a quick shout out, and then I'll switch back to you. Congrats to St. Charles North for knocking off the champs. Again, we didn't record last week, so some of this is catch-up news. But they knocked off the champs Providence, and Emerson Miller for St. Chaz North chucked 4 1/3 of 1-run ball. Matt Kelly for the North Stars went 3 for 3 with an RBI run scored. Congrats to the North Stars. That's a big win, even though it's early in the season.
Absolutely. That's 100%. That's a big win. For my last group, I want to recognize a group that is probably pretty well unheard of. And that would be the Ballers from Roanoke, Benson, Low Point, Washburn. The Rockets are off to a pretty nice start this year. I believe they're 7-3. Their leadoff man, Henry Kaler, who's a 2026 outfielder, is just on fire with the bat. I believe at one point he had 4 or 5 multi-hit games in a row. They could be another addition to that 2A regional that could really get interesting. Of course, Roanoke Benson's biggest claim to fame, for those who are familiar with Illinois baseball history, back in 1995, their squad went 33-0 and won a Class A state title back when there were only 2 classes. And they were led by a guy by the name of Jeremy Brown, an Evansville recruit who went obviously unbeaten on the mound that year, and I think only gave up like 3 earned runs. And
Dewey Calmer didn't want him, said he was too short, and Barner told me they matched up against Mr. Brown, I think 3 times. And guess who won all 3 of those? So
Yeah.
for you short folks out there, show them. Show the people who ignore you. Show them it doesn't matter. You can still chuck the gas.
Not enough height, not enough fast twitch for Dewey.
Yep. And I love Dewey. What a character he is. I think I went like 5 straight years with your best pal Kevin Yates to his camps as a youngster. And yes, the term fast twitch muscle fiber was uttered over under 947 times.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, folks, I believe that is all we have for this week. So we thank you for joining us. Hopefully you've enjoyed this as much as we have. Thanks to the twins, Caden and Nolan Kindle of Andrew High and Ryan Shafton of Morgan High for joining us. We'll be reaching out to more of you to join. Hopefully we'll start to get some more guys on here to talk a little bit about what's going on around the state and how their seasons are going, and we'll go from there.
And let's not forget our sponsor, the defunct KZ 93.3 FM on your dial, serving Bloomington Normal and Peoria for all the latest hits. If you tune in, you will hear nothing because the radio station is gone. But
no, it's an oldie station now.
Oh, they've got okay. When Diggle and I were young, boy, if you wanted to hear the new cuts, that's what you chimed in on. Rock 106, of course, solid classic rock, 95.5 WGLO for your oldies, but for the new stuff, you had to go KZ 93.3.
2 funny stories. First about KZ 93. I just booked one of their former DJs as a hypnotist for East Peoria High School.
Gary Olson?
No, Terry Growie. But anyway,
booked him as a Wait, I blacked out for a second. Booked him as a hypnotist for what?
East Peoria's project graduation.
I love it.
Yeah,
that's a very diversified career.
Yeah, 100%.
That's impressive.
And then secondly, my first appearance on Rock 106 was because my dad owned the funeral home right next to the Rock 106 studios. And when I would mow the lawn there, I would accidentally point the grass chute at the windows. So Jamie Markley would come out yelling at me as I mowed that I was interfering with his playing of hits by Bush and Nirvana.
I saw Bush at U of I, by the way, 1996, No Doubt tour. That's where the 2 lead singers met and were married on that tour. Shout out to Bush, Gwen Stefani, and Gavin Rosdale. Thanks for coming out.
That concludes our pitch for a 90s podcast as well. So
thanks for tuning in. We hope to have Jack Bauer next week, but he might be on WGN. We don't know, but we're going to get you soon, Mr. Bauer.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming out, everybody. We appreciate you.